Okay, so I am here with Allegra Spender, who is the MP, the federal MP for Wentworth. Now, for those not from Sydney, Wentworth is what, the eastern suburbs?
Think Bondi Beach and outwards.
There you go.
Wentworth.
Think Bondi Beach. How terrible for you.
Yeah.
So we're here in Allegra's Tesla Model 3 Highland, and it's red.
I know. Look, the kids made me get a red one. I was going for something much more boring and grey, but my children basically vetoed me, and they all took a family vote, and I lost.
So how long have you had this car?
Probably coming up to a year.
Oh, wow. So would that have been one of the first Highlands, maybe?
Yes, it was. No, probably not quite a year. Actually, it was February, I think, that we got delivered. February, but I think we bought it in October, November last year, and then we got it in February.
So what car did you have before this car?
A Prius.
Okay.
Yeah. And, for us, probably one of the big concerns about the question we had in our heads is we don't have off-street parking, we don't have a garage, and it was really about charging. You know, that was the thing that kind of held us back. And then, there were enough kind of public car charges around that we just decided to say, you know what, let's take the plunge and do this.
Wow. So you survived without parking?
Yeah, well, it's true because if I look at my area, about 60% of people in this area live in apartments. So we're not unusual not to have that sort of parking. And it's actually, that's why I think the councils around here are doing a lot of good work, and also the federal government and the state governments are really sort of coming together to put in charges, because it's really important public infrastructure, particularly in a place like this. Look at all these beautiful, lovely, for instance, these Paddington terraces, gorgeous, no parking.
Yeah. But it doesn't seem to be stopping people.
No. I think we might have some of the highest penetrations of Teslas around.
Ooh, there you go. So you obviously drive to Canberra on a regular basis.
Yeah. So that was actually one of the reasons why we bought this car, was because it's got a long range. Because I often drive at sort of 5 o'clock in the morning, and the problem with that is I don't want to be, if we're leaving at 5:15, I don't want to be spending sort of 20 minutes in a car park halfway there charging. And so we bought this car in particular to make sure that we had that space. And generally when I leave, if I leave at 100%, then I will get to Canberra with around sort of 30 or so percent. So that's.
And where do you charge it down there?
Actually, Parliament House has put some chargers in. So yes, which is actually very exciting. So that's where I'd charge it when I'm in Canberra.
Wow.
Yeah.
We're going to go look at a charger. Let's go look at that. Check this out. This is a street charger, ChargeFox street charger here. Somebody's charging here already. Lovely. You do have your trusty cable. I love it. Your Type 2 to Type 2. Fabulous, fabulous. Allegra has her trusty cable. Type 2 to Type 2. This is a 22 kilowatt charger. So do you use this one quite regularly?
Yeah, this is one of the ones we use regularly. We often have dinner or something here, and so what we'll do is we'll charge while we're here.
That's the thing, isn't it, that people often don't realise, is that you charge when you're doing something else.
Yeah, so I think our favourite charger is a very fast charger in the inner west, which also has Messina ice cream. And so what we'll do with the kids is to say, right, let's go and charge the car if we want to do a really quick charge, and then we'll get ice cream at the same time. So it is win-win with the kids.
We were just chatting away, and I just want to ask you this. So at Parliament House, are they free charges, and what are they?
No, they're not free. That wouldn't be appropriate use of taxpayers' funds. But no, so they're just universal charges like these. And so just one night before I come home, normally on the Wednesday night I'll plug it in. And so by the time I'm ready to leave, or if I've left it late Thursday morning, I'll plug it in. And by the time I'm ready to leave on Thursday afternoon, Thursday evening, it's ready to go.
That's good.
Yeah, it's good. And look, I've got more confidence now that even if I leave at 90% or 80%, I will still make it. That's the thing that makes me nervous. But I try and leave the car with sort of close to 100% as possible, just in case.
So, Allegra, what do your kids love about this car?
They like it all together, but they do particularly like the games.
Right.
So they like that you can play like chess and other games. They like that they can turn on a fart noise, so that every time I press an indicator, it farts. And they like the music.
Did you know how to turn that on, the fart thing, or did they do it?
I did know how to do that, but they found it hilarious.
Did you know how to turn it off?
No, I cannot reliably do that. But yes, they've really enjoyed it. has a car actually. But we've never had a new car before, and so for them this is a big sort of a big step up.
That'd be a massive step up then.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, that's so cool. I love it. And of course they've got the screen in the back as well, haven't they?
Yeah, they have, and the car is called Tangles, which is actually after one of my daughter's toys is called Tangles. Her most favourite toy is called Tangles, and this is now called Tangles too. Hopefully not because we're going to end up in lots of sort of,
Tangles.
Yes, Tangles.
So let's talk about charging in the eastern suburbs. That's one of the chargers we just saw on the street. I assume that there are more to come, and what kind of plans are there?
Look, we've got around 40 at the moment in the east. But we're expecting another over 200 between the councils of Woollahra, Waverley and Randwick.
Oh, wow.
Over just in the next year. So it's an absolute explosion, and that's, driven again by sort of local, federal and state funding, as well as as well as private providers in the space. So because, as I said, we've got such a dense community, it's one of the most densely populated areas in the country, and a lot of people living in flats and apartments. So we need this basically.
Yeah, great.
And it just really works. And before I bought the car, I talked to people, who had EVs, and they talked and asked them about how did they make it work, and it was really sort of learning from other people gave my husband and I the confidence to say, you know what, we can do this, we'll make it work.
It is a bit of a learning curve, isn't it?
Yeah, and you have to think about it. Like, you do have to go, okay, if you don't have the car, the garage, in front of the house, you have to think about, when am I going to charge it? How's that going to work? But there are options, and they're getting more and more.
Have you heard about gully charging?
No, I haven't heard about gully charging.
In the United Kingdom, I am obsessed with this. In the United Kingdom, they've been trialling all these different ideas when it comes to people that don't have off-street parking. And, try boom arms that swing out and flat cables and all sorts of things. But gully charging is the cheapest and least complained about option. It's where they cut about a little channel about 4 centimetres deep into the footpath, and then they slot in this little metal channel, and it's got a little lid that basically flips open, or it's like rubber really, and you push your cable in and run your cable out to your car. It's completely flat, not a trip hazard, and then when you're done, you bring your cable inside. And it's just really simple, and I'm obsessed.
Look, I think it's great, but the challenge is I can't park within 200 metres reliably of my house. Sometimes I can, sometimes I can't. I live on a pretty busy street, so I think it would work, but there are some...
See, we can park out the front of our house all the time.
Lucky you.
I know. We're
Don't talk to me.
Don't come to where I live in the inner west. One of the few streets where you actually can.
Yeah, sure. So that's so I think, again, you need a lot of options.
Yeah.
There are lots of different communities, lots of different sort of, peculiarities depending on where you live.
And charging speeds. You don't need fast DC chargers everywhere, do you?
Well, you need a mix. I think you do need, sometimes I do need a, full charge and pretty quickly, but oftentimes I don't. So you just need that combination. Yeah,
I think people think, I've got to go and use a DC charger all the time, but sometimes you could just, just top up overnight, and if you've got 11 kilowatt AC charging like you've got, what are you adding? You're probably adding 60 Ks an hour or something?
Something like that, yeah.
That's amazing. God, the long range. I'm so jealous. All those kilometres.
Very exciting.
Well, thank you so much for talking to me. I really, really appreciate it.
Absolute pleasure.
Yeah. Now let's go on, put your foot down. Go on.
No.